Well, here we are once again. Floating somewhere between Earth and space, just trying to figure it all out. Got a hell of a lot to talk about here tonight, Space fam, so I guess we better get right to it. As always, do not forget to buckle up those seatbelts. As you know, these space flights of ours are often dangerous, filled with peril. Wouldn't want any of you to go floating off into that deep, dark void of space, never to be seen again. Well, Space fam, it's beautiful to see you here on this Thursday evening. Hope you're all well. Got a lot to talk about here tonight, but first, some shout-outs. Urban Horologist, Moano Up Endless, Unlessness123 in the YouTube chat. Sue Fairwolf B, close fourth. Mike Tool, also here. Pitchfork Dragon. Morbius, Young Chris. Mr. Spock. Jet, Frizla, Crotchy, I said Mr. Spock, Nightbot, Glitchmaster, Ravy Baby, Attic is among us, over on the vertical, Asaxia, first to type in the chat, not the first to redeem one single channel point. Gotta be faster than that. Ducky, Omega, Zoot, what? Zoot of Castle Anthrax. Too much peril. Too perilous. Parkour's language. I already said Asaxia. Yes, people, I see all of you. And I hope hopefully you're doing well. First stream back since being demonetized. I've been a little, been a little upset. Can't lie. Been a little upset. Oh, I almost forgot. I need sunglasses. And a hat. Before we get to everything here, we should point out it's been a difficult week for me. If you haven't heard, somehow, if you're somehow watching the stream but you haven't heard, we have been demonetized on YouTube. Even though we have more subscribers on YouTube than we have on followers on Twitch, we're now no longer allowed to make money on YouTube for being too inauthentic. Whatever the hell that means. A description which is so utterly vague it could apply to any channel on YouTube. Which is why I'm planning to make a long-form video and posting it when I get a chance. When I get a second off. When I get a second and I'm not literally like living in a state of despair. Right? Or working. I'm going to try and make a fucking video about this because I looked through it. This applies to so many channels you will not believe it. Like this, I looked through this inauthentic thing. I'm gonna make a whole thing about it. I mean, this applies to practically every channel on YouTube. It could be. It's so vague that it could be applied, which is why I think it is a new rule that YouTube came up with to just be able to, whenever they want, just sort of shut somebody down. What's even more fucked up about it that I've learned, and I'm not sure it's true yet, but I heard from one source, that YouTube can't even be bothered to do the reviews themselves, and they're outsourcing it to some sort of third-party contractor, basically a temp agency. They are outsourcing YouTube demonetization checks to a temp agency. Could literally be anybody. Could literally be it's just somebody in their living room, like, fuck this guy. Anyway, we're just going to do Iran talk today. Middle East, Operation Epstein Fury type stuff. Mostly because I just need to ease back into the saddle right now. It's been a very stressful week already. Thankfully, I don't know if you've seen the update in the Discord. I assume those in the Discord have seen it, but at least only part of our income, like half of it, was taken. So I at least for now, won't go homeless next week. However, things are not drastically better. And in fact, I've been watching my YouTube revenue, earnings increase because they take 2 days to update. So I've been watching myself make money and not make money on YouTube. So now it's up to $700 nearly. I think it's like $689 or something like that. That YouTube is not going to be paying me next month around this time. Haven't added it to the galactic deficit. We're still working on the deficit to pay the regular bills. Starting the 1st. Thankfully, we've made huge progress on that. Also, thank you to Frizla for the dono on PayPal, getting us a little bit closer to completing the financing of the galactic deficit. May Gary, he be praised. Reinstate your account ASAP and refund you for all the income withheld. Praise Gary. We miss you, Spaceman. Oh, Spaceman. For whatever reason, I think it's fair for me to assume that was Spaceman. But yeah, thank you, Frizzle. I appreciate that. I'll add that to the galactic content goal today. But yeah, so we were gonna do a galactic content goal today, but we can't do super chats. We can't do super stickers. Can't do jewels, memberships, or gifted memberships. Not good enough. I only worked a year, more than a year, to get fully monetized on YouTube. Now it's been taken away. What's great about this is that it's the second time I've been punished by YouTube in the last 6 months for what feels like me doing my very best. It's fun. It's a good time. Anyway, let's get to Operation Epstein Fury, the war in the Middle East. Iran, Israel, Lebanon, Gaza, everybody in between. Starting with the United States. And we're going to do like a half a week ending report on Iran, just so tomorrow we can just get caught up on Iran rather than do it, because I already know I'm going to be real mad tomorrow. Just prepare yourselves, because I'm like, since I haven't streamed, you know how I'm usually get upset when I'm like, oh God, I've got too much on my list. Oh, it's going to be bad. I can already feel it. Tomorrow's going to be bad. So we're just going to try and get all of this Iran stuff in from Monday, chronologically, best I can. Starting here, back in the United States. Why is that so quiet? Also, why do I not see sound? Are people here? Yeah, okay, I see sound there, but why don't I see sound over here? Doesn't make any sense. What if I do this? Wait, what? What do you mean that audio device doesn't exist?
This is ridiculous!
We're joined now by Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna of California. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it.
Always good to be here.
So I know you've obviously been adamantly opposed to this war in the first place. What do you make of this latest development, though, another round of peace talks?
Well, they said they want to escalate to de-escalate. They've escalated to devastation. I mean, you have the Pope lecturing America about possible war crimes. You have the president, as you pointed out, threatening to destroy all power plants. I didn't think we would ever get to that point. You have the Strait of Hormuz that is now blocked. This never happened before the war. What have we achieved? Gas is up from $2.30 to $4. You have now Iran having a more hardline regime, as we just heard, and all our allies like UAE being hit. I mean, we've created devastation, and we're being lectured by the Pope.
But let me ask you, you've called the war, I think I have this correct, the biggest blunder in American foreign policy in the 21st century. If this gets to a resolution, I mean, if they actually, and I know that's a big if, but if they actually get to a resolution where Iran has given up its nuclear program and, you know, there is a peace deal, maybe even a peace deal with Lebanon, are you prepared to revise that and say that they actually got something out of it and it wasn't a blunder?
If we actually achieve something, but the enriched uranium is still there. We have a more hardline regime there. Khamenei Jr. actually wants to develop nuclear weapons. Does anyone believe that we actually have more leverage over the Strait of Hormuz? We have less. China has more influence in Iran. And we've lost our entire moral credibility. We have a president of the United States threatening to wipe out Iranian civilization, and people think it's normal. And then you have a situation where our troops are at risk, where a president who campaigned on peace is spending now $400 billion to spend more money on these wars. Why aren't we spending that on health care here, jobs here, child care here? Why aren't we addressing the needs of the American people? I'm Team America. He seems to be more obsessed with the Middle East.
So let me ask you about Israel. You were one of 40, I mean, you're not in the Senate, but there were 40 Senate Democrats who voted to halt the sale of military equipment to Israel, something you agreed with clearly. Is the Democratic Party no longer a pro-Israeli party?
We're a party that believes in two states and peace. But let me tell you what we're not for. We're not for aid to Israel. They've got a $45 billion defense budget. Why are we giving them money? Why aren't we providing it for health care here? Why aren't we providing it for child care here? By the way, that's not just an issue with the Democratic Party. You look at Republican voters under 50, they agree with me. And then you look at what the devastation was in Gaza. Why aren't we doing the Arab peace plan, which, by the way, the UAE foreign minister has supported of two.
Well, there you go. Now, Ro Khanna is basically, in my opinion, like the bare minimum that we should have in Congress. So people who are like, hey, like, this is just bad for Americans. Like, it's the very bare minimum. Like, I think that he doesn't go nearly far enough on a lot of stuff. But like I said, Like, I'll accept it as like being the bare minimum we should be shooting for. Not having a bunch of people rushing to defend Israel or give Israel all of our money for things like healthcare. We could have. Israel, in a way, is like the reason we can't have nice things right now. Not entirely. It's also just the entire military-industrial complex. $1 trillion. Now, what could potentially be $1.5 trillion. At least that's what the Pentagon is currently asking for next year. Actually, I think they might be asking for it this year. I think they're looking for a budget increase this year. I'm not sure which budget year they want, but they want an increase by like 50%. An already $1 trillion military budget. Represents like 33% of all U.S. expenditures or something. I can't remember the exact number, but it's
This is
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
It's very frustrating that I am being called inauthentic. Like, it's kind of like ringing in my head, right? The inauthentic, this label, as if I'm not authentic enough. What must I do? What must I do to be more authentic? Oh, God. What I'd love to know are like clip channels of TV shows more authentic than what I do, right? Because like there's like I like of almost practically every TV show on the planet. There's dozens of clip channels. Is that more authentic than what I do? Sitting here for 8 hours, 5 days a week, talking into a microphone, giving my opinions. What's so inauthentic? What is so inauthentic? I'm offended.
How rude.
I'm genuinely offended. Like, what? Why? Oh, God. It's unbelievable. It makes zero negative sense. Speaking of Israel, there have been a bunch of protests going on in Israel. This is from Sunday, where protesters took to the streets in Tel Aviv against Benjamin Netanyahu's failures on October 7th, demanding an investigation.
In Israel, hundreds of people have gathered again in Tel Aviv to protest against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his government. Demonstrators took to the streets, calling for the establishment of a commission of inquiry. They wanted to investigate the government's handling of Hamas's October 7th attack in 2023. Netanyahu has rejected a state commission over his belief that the judiciary is biased against him. Protesters accuse him of leading the country into multiple wars while clinging to political power.
I'm here tonight, first of all, to support the families that lost their loved ones on October 7th and since October 7th in the endless war held by our Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And this is like a mirror to the Memorial Day ceremonies. It's the non-remembrance ceremony, and people here are asking for this government and the next government to investigate what happened on October 7th and after.
An actual investigation. That'd be interesting. That would be interesting for sure. But of course, Benjamin Netanyahu has been blocking most investigations into him and his government, as he's been claiming that they're at war, and so you can't do that. You can't do it.
Illegal.
Which has been preventing him from sitting trial for his a number of alleged corruption crimes and other things like that. Only MAGA rhetoric is authentic. Ah, that makes sense. Now it makes sense. I was so confused for a second. Like, what am I doing wrong? Oh, not MAGA enough. We'll fix that. I'll fix that. I'll find a hat. I'll find a MAGA hat. I'll wear that instead of the tinfoil hat. Oh, God. I'm going to struggle to get through today. Just so everybody knows. I'm pretty upset. I'm still pretty upset. And looking at the YouTube. Like, I've been honestly almost avoiding YouTube. A place that I love. I've loved for, like, decades now. And, like, it pains me to be treated this way. Labeled inauthentic, demonetized after all of my hard work. It's pretty fucked up when you think about it. All right, leaving Israel, staying on Sunday, Donald Trump threatened Iran's infrastructure again. Bridge Day, power plant day, back on.
Hello, welcome. I'm Kasia Madeira. This is the Iran War Today, our daily briefing, bringing you up to date with all you need to know on day 51 of the US-Israel war with Iran. So over the next 15 minutes or so, we'll get the very latest from our teams across the world. We're going to be live with our correspondents in Washington and Jerusalem. We're going to start with some of today's key developments. President Trump says a US team is heading to Pakistan for talks with Iran, but he's again threatened to strike Iranian power plants and bridges if a deal isn't reached soon, saying no more Mr. Nice Guy. Security's tight in the Pakistani capital Islamabad.
No more Mr.
Iran
Nice
is
Guy.
yet to confirm if they'll.
What does that even mean? Like, what does that even mean in this context, considering what we've already seen? The United States has blown up bridges, hospitals, children's schools. You know, like, what that was Mr. Nice Guy? Mr. Nice Guy. Mr. Guy committing war crimes. Very nice. Everybody's saying it.
Participate in the talks. The US president also accuses Iran of violating the ceasefire by continuing its blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. An Iranian official calls for him to lift the foolish American blockade on Iran's ports. And we'll have the very latest from inside Iran with the BBC's chief international correspondent, Lise Doucet.
I think the only bit of light in this dark is that behind the scenes and this war of words, the mediators are still exchanging messages.
And in Lebanon, the ceasefire there is allowing authorities to continue work to repair infrastructure in the south of the country.
Okay. We're not going to watch this whole thing. Just trying to help us to recap the week on Iran right now. It's a very strange week. Now, Donald Trump posted this to his Truth Social on Sunday. Iran decided to fire bullets yesterday in the Strait of Hormuz. A capital T total violation of our capital C ceasefire agreement. Many of them were aimed at a friend ship and a freighter from the United Kingdom. That wasn't nice, was it? Our representatives are going to Islamabad, Pakistan, where they will be tomorrow evening for negotiations, capital N, of course. Iran recently announced that they were closing on the strait, which is strange because our capital, all caps blockade, has already closed it. They're helping us without knowing, and they are the ones that lose with the closed passage, $500 million a day. The United States loses nothing. In fact, many ships are headed right now to the United States, Texas, Louisiana, and Alaska to load up compliments of the IRGC, always wanting to be the quote-unquote tough guy. We're offering a very fair and reasonable, all caps, deal. And I hope they take it, because if they don't, the United States is going to knock out every single power plant and every single bridge in Iran. All caps. No more Mr. Nice Guy. They'll come down fast, my capital H honor. Wait, they'll come down fast. They'll come down easy, and if they don't take the all caps deal, it will be my honor to do what has to be done, which should have been done to Iran by other presidents for the last 47 years. All caps. It's time for the Iran killing machine to end. President Donald J. Trump.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
We have a
He's
demented,
deranged lunatic.
unintelligent person running the United States of America.
Oh no, I was inauthentic just now. Oh no, I read a thing. I read something that's inauthentic. Oh God, reading is on inauthentic. Help me. Oh, I just want to just before we move on. I want to just read this right now. I can't help it. Like, I'm just so pissed off about this. I just want to read, because the fact is, I'm going to try and make a video about this later. But according to YouTube, there's a new policy instituted this year, or last year, I don't know. I think they updated it again, or like they posted some shit earlier this year. It's not clear. But repetitive content. Where is repetitive content? Where is this garbage? Hold on. Here, I'll use Google's AI overview. It should be accurate. It's on YouTube's own website. YouTube considers inauthentic content to be mass-produced, automated, or highly repetitive content that lacks significant educational or personal value. Oopsies. Go back. Flag the spam to protect the flat platform's ecosystem. Okay, shut up, sir. I need you to shut up. Slideshows with minimal text, repetitive voiceovers on the same topic, or repurposed content that has not been suitably altered. Content that manipulates and pays for. I don't do any of these things, but I also I can't find. There's like a different version of YouTube's policy. I can't find it. Fucking hell. There's a part of YouTube's policy where I think it might be. I have to get to it through, which is probably why I should make a fucking video about this. But like I think through the YouTube studio, I found. Basically, and they also, in terms of their responses to me, oh, actually, I know where it is. I think it's here, right? It was in my email. I think I posted it somewhere, didn't I? Yeah, I think I did. Did post it somewhere. But effectively, like, reading content is somehow a problem. And does that count as content? That's on Trump's True Social. It's on a social media platform. I mean, Trump's monetizing it. Is that owned by the president, or is that relevant news and educational information? Monetization on your channel has been disabled. Where is it? Here it is. Clicky, clicky, click. Because we've determined that a significant portion of your channel does not comply with YouTube Partner Program terms. As a participant in the YouTube Partner Program, you must meet several content quality guidelines. We've included in some examples of content that doesn't meet these standards because it's seen as inauthentic content. Inauthentic content refers to content that seems like it has been mass-produced. This can mean content that looks like it has been made with a template, has minimal variation across videos, or is a slideshow with low narrative commentary or educational value. Examples include... Wait, how do I look at this whole thing? Why can't I look at the whole text? I don't understand. They're so dumb. Highly repetitive content with minimal variation of it. Mass-produced image slideshows or scrolling texts with minimal or no narrative commentary or educational value. But there's more to this, and I can't read it right now, and just screw it. I'll get to this later. But basically, like reading news, somehow that's low effort. So low effort. I suppose clipping old like TV shows, that's higher effort, right? That stuff exists. I could find you 1,000 channels right now of clipped movies and TV shows. Some of them probably are demonetized, I would assume. But there's also a shitload of channels that do less work than I do, and I'm fairly certain are still monetized. It's weird how that works.
The state of our union is suffering from a bit of whiplash. This morning, President Trump is renewing threats.
I gotta wiggle
Iran,
more.
Warning them on social media. He's, quote,
Wiggle.
no more Mr. Nice Guy, and vowing to blow up every bridge and power plant in Iran if the country won't make the deal that the U.S. is offering. We should note that targeting civilian infrastructure is considered a war crime under the Geneva Conventions. On Friday, President Trump suggested a deal was in fact close at hand. He's still sending representatives to Islamabad, Pakistan tomorrow for talks with Iran. This morning, Iran's top negotiator says the two sides remain far apart, and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard commander says Iran is replenishing its missile and drone stockpiles during this ceasefire at a faster pace than they were doing before the war. Meanwhile, despite Trump's optimistic pronouncements Friday, the Strait of Hormuz right now remains not open. Iranian gunboats are firing on tankers attempting to transit the strait. It's a clear sign that nearly 2 months into this war, Iran's stranglehold.
You can't handle it. Look how much wiggling I'm doing. Yeah, I'm the wiggle master.
On the global
Who can wiggle faster?
economy remains as tight as ever. Joining us now to discuss, Energy Secretary Chris Wright. Thanks so much for being here, Secretary Wright. We appreciate it.
You bet.
So President Trump in the Truth Social post this morning said if the Iranians don't take the deal being offered, quote, the United States is going to knock out every single power plant and every single bridge in Iran. No more Mr. Nice Guy. They'll come down fast. They'll come down easy. Are you not concerned that those proposed strikes on civilian infrastructure, including power plants, would hurt the innocent people of Iran and would constitute a war crime?
Yeah, like the president's looking for maximum leverage, maximum leverage in these negotiations. A lot of their infrastructure.
There's Donald Trump's energy secretary claiming that war crimes are just maximum negotiation. Maximum negotiation, says Chris Wright. Thanks, Chris. Great job. Great job. Yes, I know your emojis are all gone. And we worked really hard for those. Remember working hard on getting those emojis? By the way, I wonder if we ever get remonetized, we will be, do you think we'll be giving back all of our old emojis, or do you think we'll have to work to get them back? It's entirely possible they would make us like re-get them. Who knows? Who knows what the YouTube overlords would do?
Do you know what we're here for?
What's that? The Humanist Report with the raid over on Twitch. My God. Mike Figueredo. Welcome in, humanists. Good to see you. You're all so beautiful. We're talking Iran. We're trying to do the whole week right now. I haven't been streaming all week because I got demonetized on YouTube, and I've been very upset.
Do you know what we're here for?
Oh, snap. Matt Binder with the raid. Bindarians. Round of applause for you. Welcome in. Beautiful to see all of you people right now. Is leftist mafia already ending? It's good to see all of you right now. I needed this. It's been a difficult week, okay? Been a very difficult week. We've been declared inauthentic by YouTube. Not authentic enough, my 8-hour live streams 5 days a week. Somehow. Don't know what that means still. Very, very vague. Thank you, whoever's doing the shout outs in the chat. I assume one of you mods are on it. Dang it. The daycare has been let out. The daycare has been let out, has it?
You're hurting the kids.
Come on!
This is ridiculous!
What? Shut up.
What the fuck is going on?
All right, I've lost my place. Oh, God. My list is so fucked up right now. Okay, yes, there we go. All right, we're skipping past Chris. We just got done with Chris Wright, the Energy Secretary of the United States, saying that actually war crimes are a negotiating position. That's just maximum negotiation. Says Chris. He's a special guy. Now, keeping it moving, Al Jazeera English. This is from Sunday. Donald Trump claimed that the United States had seized Iranian flagged vessels. Of course, we did, in fact, find out that that was true shortly after it was announced. You remember when Donald Trump and all of his supporters were upset that Hillary Clinton had like private email servers she was doing, potentially having like potentially classified conversations on? Remember that? Now we're back to having a president who just tweets out active military operations on his social media platform.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
Well, U.S. President Donald Trump says American forces have seized an Iranian-flagged cargo ship near the Strait of Hormuz. It is the first of such incidents since the U.S. military imposed a naval blockade on Iranian's southern coast, forbidding ships to head to and from Iranian ports. So in a post on Truth Social, President Trump said this, quote, "Today, an Iranian-flagged cargo ship named Tuska, nearly 900 feet long and weighing almost as much as an aircraft carrier, tried to get past our naval blockade, and it did not go well for them. The U.S. Navy guided missile destroyer USS Spruance intercepted the Tuska in the Gulf of Oman.
We gave them a fair warning to stop. The Iranian crew refused to listen, so our Navy ship stopped them right in their tracks by blowing a hole in the engine room. Right now, U.S. Marines have custody of the vessel. The Tuska is under U.S. Treasury sanctions because of their prior history of illegal activity. We have full custody of the ship and are seeing what's on board. President Donald J. Trump." It's like, this was such a fucking unhinged tweet. He's like, look at us, we're pirates. We're pirates, everybody. Oh my God. Look, it's a civilian vessel that we attacked and seized, and now we're checking out what's on board. Could be good, we'll let you know. We'll let you know if we find anything good, or maybe not. I have a special private island where I have been holding stuff maybe I don't want to tell people about. Call it Treasure Island. We're privateers, everybody. Look at us. Okay, it's insane. It's insane. Why is this what we have? By the way, thank you for the follows over on Twitch. PDX-3, the Kitsune Cavalier. I know that name. KMH 500. Much appreciated. Welcome to the Galactic Stream Nation. All right, moving it along. While simultaneously seizing a boat in the Gulf of Oman and threatening war crimes, Donald Trump also said on Sunday that there would be a new round of peace talks in the same message, of course. It's just a fascinating, like, slapdash of policy. Completely incoherent. Freed KY. Freed Kentucky? Or freed a different KY? Thank you for the applause. I'm not sure what that was for. Puppy treats for like, gotta get those in there. You know how much she likes those little donut-shaped treats. She thinks she's people. Or bagel-shaped, depends on how you identify. Let's see here. Moving along. Reuters from 4 days ago. Speaking of Trump's claims of peace talks in Iran, shortly after that tweet, Iran came out and promptly rebuffed Trump's claims of new peace talks in Pakistan.
Iran's state news agency on Sunday reported the country had rejected new peace talks with the United States.
Whoa.
The rejection came hours after U.S. President Donald Trump said he was sending envoys to Pakistan for talks and would strike Iran unless it accepted his terms. Iran's official news agency wrote, quote, Iran stated that its absence from the second round of talks stems from what it called Washington's excessive demands, unrealistic expectations, constant shifts in stance, repeated contradictions, and the ongoing naval blockade, which it considers a breach of the ceasefire. Trump, meanwhile, said the U.S. military had taken control of an Iranian-flagged cargo ship by blowing a hole in its engine room. He wrote on social media, quote, We have full custody of their ship and are seeing what's on board. The United States has kept a blockade of Iranian ports in place, while Iran has lifted and then reimposed its own blockade of marine traffic.
Like, honestly, like, that's the sort of sentence you expect from, like, an adventuring party. Playing, like, a D&D pirate-themed campaign. Let's see what's on board. Yeah, let's just take a look.
Follow the rich white man.
Illegal. Okay. Let's just take it, roll a D20.
This is ridiculous.
Sudden Apollo with the resub. Thank you. Apollo. Of course, just a reminder, everybody, we have been demonetized on YouTube as of Monday morning this week. Whatever day it was, Monday night? I can't remember now. I'm too broken inside. Demonetized on YouTube after 2 years. More than 2 years. So, only way to donate to the Galactic News Network is going to be Twitch, Cash App, PayPal, Throne, and Patreon. I guess we still have ways. We still have plenty of ways, technically. We've just been punished for I still don't know what. They don't give any specifics. Okay, keeping this moving. Philosopher King. Thank you for the follow. As someone who was once the captain during a D&D 5th edition campaign, I'm trying to remember if we ever had a let's check it out. let's check out what's on board moments. I mean, I feel like that's pretty standard. And I feel like it's like there's always somebody in the party. Unless you have, like, no sneaky people. If you're just a bunch of tanks with zero sneak, at some point, you know, like, you got to accept who you are. But I feel like you always got to have at least one rogue in the party, which means there's always one. And even when the rogue, like, I feel like even when the rogue gives up, I've always seen somebody else be like, hey, you know what, now's my time to shine. All of a sudden, the druid's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to turn into a snake. I'm going to crawl up this little this rope right now. Let's see what's inside the ship. Like, oh, sure. Yeah, do that. Yeah. Go right ahead. Just get right on there. It's not yours, but go right on there.
Illegal.
All right, I've lost my place again. There we are. All right, while we're talking about this, the Sunday, still not done with Sunday. It was a busy Sunday. Donald Trump throwing out all sorts of different claims on social media regarding Operation Epstein Fury, from war crimes to peace talks. Central Command released video of some of his pirateering activities in the Gulf of Oman on Sunday, shortly after Trump. I love how it went in that order. It really gave the vibes of this wasn't declassified until Donald Trump posted it on Truth Social type of vibes.
A fragile ceasefire between the United States, Israel, and Iran is being threatened by developments in the Strait of Hormuz. The United States Navy has seized an Iranian-flagged cargo ship, the Tuska, heading towards Bandar Abbas. President Donald Trump says the vessel was trying to breach a U.S. blockade on Iranian ports in the Gulf of Oman. In the past hour, U.S. Central Command has released this video showing the interception.
This is clearly a war crime. First off, that's not, that's not a military vessel. You have to assume that that's a civilian vessel and that civilians are on the vessels, not soldiers. It's a ship. It's a random ship with a bunch of Amazon packages or whatever, right? Or whatever, the equivalent is for this particular situation. And they shoot before they ever say anything. Twice. They shoot twice before any radio communication. Be ready. Or I guess you can kind of hear maybe some, I can't tell. It sounds like it's coming from the other ship. I can't quite tell. It could be from another U.S. Navy ship or from this ship. I don't think it's the person. I don't think it's on this vessel. Although it could be, I suppose. But it's unlikely. There's the all of the sound of it. It sounds like it's coming over a radio because of all the static. So it sounds like somebody else is trying to communicate. Meanwhile, we're just blasting.
Motor Vessel Tosca, vacate your engine room. Vacate your engine room. We're prepared to subject you to disabling fire.
Okay, we gave the flare. Iran has vowed to retaliate against what it calls a maritime armed robbery and has accused the U.S. of violating the ceasefire. The Iranian military says after the attack, U.S. military ships were targeted with drones. Now, that attack of the Iranian-flagged vessel came just hours after President Trump confirmed a U.S. delegation will travel to Pakistan's capital for possible talks. He's once again threatened to destroy Iran's energy infrastructure and bridges if a deal isn't reached. But an Iranian source has told us that Tehran will not be taking part in the talks because Iran believes it's being deceived by the...
Oh, really? Iran thinks it's being deceived? The United States and Israel? What?
And there are questions surrounding Israel's sincerity.
Yeah, oh, that's right. For a long, long time, there have been questions around both Israel's and the United States' sincerity regarding any of this peace talks. Especially since Trump has come to office. I mean, this was the second time, right? Second time in 6 months-ish that the United States interrupted or preempted planned diplomatic talks with bombs.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
They're used to sinking fishing boats in the Caribbean. That's true. The Navy is used to sinking boats, the fishing boats in the Caribbean. They've been doing that a lot. Don't forget the Pacific, of course. Also sinking those boats, too. So make sure we're accurate. I wouldn't want to be criticized for being inaccurate and inauthentic. That would be too much.
Too much, man!
I do not believe I'll be able to handle that. Right, and actually, I think we've diverted a lot of our fishing boat activity, relegated it almost to the Pacific because of the new regime in Venezuela. You know, the new regime from the exact same part. You know, Nicolas Maduro's vice president. Now interim president, temporary. I don't know I don't know her official title right now. The fact is, the United States military is running out of missiles. We're gonna get to that while we're talking about military excursions and activities. And I think one of the reasons why we're not doing so much in the Caribbean is because we just need to start picking and choosing as we rapidly run out of supplies. I mean, we've been funding Israel's genocide for quite some time, and ever since Trump came to office, we've been doing a hell of a lot of our own strikes in the Middle East, as well as in the Caribbean and the Pacific. But this just is too much now. We can't keep doing it.
Not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture.
But it was done by a government military, so it's a legal rapporteur. Right, so right, privateering then. So it's privateering rather than pirateering. I've used the wrong
Precision of
word.
language, please.
Right, it was government sanctioned. It was government sanctioned pirate stuff rather than unsanctioned pirate stuff. It's different. Same but different but same.
I made a huge, tiny mistake.
East Coast bias, very nasty. Very nasty.
When I look at this news, I start having an anxiety attack. The news and the news and the left promotes pedophilia.
Can you imagine me, of all people, this week, not having talked about Alex Jones one time? Me. I haven't once talked about Alex Jones. That's how upset I've been. I've been so upset. I haven't done a single stream. You know how bad I wanted to? I was just so upset.
Columbiarican_9505 just cheered 100 bits. Attacking Iran basically exposed the only way the US maintain a cascade of strength was on beating up the little guy.
A cascade. Ah, yes. I can't get past Cascade right now. I can't get past Cascade. Thank you, Columbia Rican. I appreciate you. The horrible U.S. Cascade. The Cascade of U.S. hegemony. I know what you meant. It's not your fault. It was the robot's fault. You spelled it right. Right? Oh, actually, did you? Now I'm questioning it. I think it might. I don't think there's an S in there, is it? Hold on. Yeah, there's no S. Yeah, there's no S in there. Fastgate. Oh, God, didn't even try. I guess that counts as trying. I'll give it to him. You're on thin ice, robot. You're on thin ice. Thank you for the bits. CR, you're true space vamps. True space vamps. Speaking of which, it's an hour in. I can't start the goal on YouTube as I normally would. So, I'm going to have to restart the goals on Twitch right now for everybody. It's the only way for us to truly measure all of this in a visual format that everyone can see. Now, of course, you could contribute to the Galactic content goal in lieu of YouTube, Super Chat, Super Stickers, memberships, gifted memberships, and jewels on things like Twitch, bits, power-ups, subs, gifted subs, prime subs. You got Cash App and PayPal, too, if you prefer your money go directly to your pal StreamLord, rather than Amazon. But, of course, you got Throne and Patreon, where for the low, low price of $3 a month, you can get access to a myriad space benefits unseen by the rest of the goddamn Milky Way galaxy. All right, 13. Actually, let's do new points. That's easier to attain. All right, goals. We got goals. We got goals. We got a sub goal. We got a biddy goal. Although I didn't do the math. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't do the math. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Look, it's been a frustrating and difficult week. Doing math right now. Can't do it. Not gonna do it. At least not right now. Maybe later. Later I'll do the math. But I want to keep this puppy moving. Did you get my pay? Yeah, I said it. I said I got a PayPal from you. I even read out your note, Frizzla. I said thank you, and I read it. Your beautiful, beautiful note. I appreciate it. Both the note and the donation.
Columbiarican_9505 just cheered 100 bits. By the way, this is a service announcement. Please, the owner of the Xenomorph on deck 18, please claim it by the front desk. Make sure to keep it in a leash for the future. RIP engineering team. End of the service announcement.
Yep. No, that's good thinking. That's just good thinking. See, Columbia Rican is so generous. He's using his hard-earned Earth money to give out galactic PSAs to all you people. Take notes. Take notes. Because, sure, the owner of the Xenomorph on deck 18 is benefiting most from this, but you're all getting sweet life hacks when you think about it. Now, massive rallies were seen in Tehran on Monday. Hey, it's almost Sunday, finally. In Tehran, backing the Iranian government and rejecting U.S.-Israeli attacks. Al Jazeera.
Demonstrators expressed anger at the thousands that have been killed in U.S.-Israeli strikes on the country. And as Iran said it had rejected new peace talks, some suggested the United States cannot be trusted to negotiate in good faith.
The United States hasn't honored any of its promises so far, nor any of the agreements it signed with us. As a result, we expect that we should proceed with complete distrust towards America that has so far fulfilled none of its commitments, even though the diplomatic track must, in any case, move forward.
It's a very pragmatic comment from that woman there. Wow. She seems to know what's going on. United States has not stuck to anything it said up to this point. Diplomacy, the best way forward. But will that diplomacy ever happen? Hard to have diplomacy when the United States continues to wage war. Usually, ceasefire talks, you're supposed to stop the war momentarily to do the talking. The U.S. has refused to do that. As, of course, the blockading of the blockaded. Sorry, the blockade of the blockade was originally the first war crime. Or the violation, essentially. It's not really necessarily, well, I guess it is also considered a war crime. But it's also just an act of war in general. Therefore, a violation of any so-called ceasefire. Making it impossible to have those talks. Iran made that fairly clear. After the U.S. announced that blockade, okay. How's everybody holding up? Yes, I know it's shocking that Donald Trump didn't follow through on protecting the protesters that he claimed to care so very much about, and that he's already moved on from them, and that it would seem like that they were some kind of a pawn, some kind of like a political, like military, almost like a military, like a pawn, a civilian military pawn, to achieve some kind of objective. Now, let's go here. Keep us moving on through the week. Been a busy week. This is just one situation we're talking about tonight. OEF only, aka Operation Epstein Fury. Staying with Al Jazeera for Monday. Actually, no. Sorry. Staying on Monday, but going to Democracy Now! Let's talk about the trust that exists between the United States and Israel. I'm sorry, and Iran. Or United States and Israel and Iran. Or the lack thereof. One could perhaps call it a gulf of trust.
You are not funny.
Hopes for an end to the U.S. and Israeli war in Iran have dimmed after another dramatic weekend. On Sunday, the U.S. struck and then seized an Iranian-flagged cargo ship. Iran has vowed to retaliate. This marks the first time the U.S. has seized an Iranian ship since President Trump announced a naval blockade of all maritime traffic entering and exiting Iranian ports. On Friday, Iran announced it would reopen the Strait of Hormuz, but then reverse course after the U.S. refused to lift its blockade. Meanwhile, the U.S.-Iran ceasefire set to expire Wednesday, and the two sides have yet to agree to hold another round of talks. On Sunday, President Trump said a U.S. delegation is heading to Pakistan for possible talks. The delegation will reportedly include Vice President J.D. Vance, Envoy Steve Witkoff, and Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. But Iran says it has no plans to engage in a second round of talks. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson spoke earlier this morning.
As of now, as I am speaking to you, we have no plan for the next round of negotiations. No decision has been taken in this regard.
On Saturday, President Trump told a reporter at Fox News, quote, "If Iran does not sign this deal, the whole country is getting blown up," unquote. In a post on social media, Trump also threatened again to, quote, "knock out every single power plant and every single bridge in Iran," unquote, if Iran doesn't agree to a deal. Trump's threats come less than 2 weeks after he warned a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again, unquote.
This guy is fucking insane. Hearing Amy have to like read those things like a whole hearing Amy say a whole civilization will die tonight is it's ridiculous.
This is ridiculous.
Show with Vali Nasser, Iranian-American professor of international affairs and Middle East studies at Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies. He's the author of Iran's Grand Strategy, A Political History. His piece for the Financial Times is headlined, Iran is Playing a Long Game. Professor Nasser, thanks for joining us again. If you can explain and respond to the latest news of the U.S. Occupying the Iranian ship and the Strait of Hormuz closed again.
What we have been witnessing since the end of the last round of talks in Islamabad is actually a gradual escalation between U.S. and Iran. Initially, things looked good. The United States pushed for a ceasefire in Lebanon. Iran announced that the Strait of Hormuz would be open to all commercial shipping. But then President Trump came out.
What is that an actual quote? Quote, I love Amy Goodman so much, she could kill my whole family and I'd still love her. Emma Vigeland of the Majority Report. Quote, I'm Amy Goodman. I just killed the entire Vigeland family, and I'll be speaking with Emma Vigeland just after the War and Peace Report. Ryan of the Majority Report. Cut to Emma Vigeland in studio with Amy Goodman saying, you know, Amy, I don't appreciate what you did, but I support everything that you do. And goddamn, do I respect you for it.
This woman is dangerous, ladies and gentlemen.
You should be ashamed of yourself for having that thought.
And said that, no, his blockade would stay put and he was going to fully enforce it. And then he issued a series of tweets and posts in which he claimed that Iran had already agreed to give up all of its nuclear program even before there was an agreement or a second round of talks, insinuating that Iran was essentially surrendering to his demands. That changed the mood in Tehran. Iranians grew very angry that the president was insinuating that they had surrendered and there was an agreement where there wasn't one. And they were suspicious that President Trump was really using the talks in Pakistan as a cover for renewing war on Iran and that he was not serious about diplomacy. And so they began to try to emphasize to their own population and to the world community that there was no agreement and that President Trump was not correct in what he was saying. They refuted his claims, and then they closed the Strait of Hormuz even more fully. And that has led to a series of attacks on ships, Iran on tankers and on cargo ships, and the United States on an Iranian ship. And that's leaves us where we are. That there are now a lot of people in Tehran who are saying there's no point in going to Islamabad. The president is preparing for war, and Iran may as well do so.
Who is in charge, Professor Nasser, in Iran right now? Who is negotiating? Who do you think is the real force or forces behind the scenes?
I think this is not a right way of looking at this. Iran has a leadership, has a supreme leader. Under supreme leader, there's a series of people he's appointed who are his senior advisors and senior security people. He has assigned and delegated the Iran Speaker of the Parliament to go and negotiate with President Trump. And ultimately, he's the final decision maker. And the leadership in Iran is cohesive. It's well in charge, just as much as the American leadership is well in charge. I think this speculation about who's in charge, who's not, that Iran is divided, it actually is not correct. What we're seeing in Iran is that the Iranian leadership is reacting to what it's seeing as erratic American messaging, that on the one side, it wants to talk. On the other side, it is sending contradictory messages in the Gulf with the blockade, as well as also claiming things about the the diplomatic process itself, which actually is creating confusion in Tehran.
All right. That is Democracy Now! From Monday. On the Gulf of Trust between the United States and Iran, which is quite vast. A deep, vast gulf of trust. I mean, how could there not be? After what has been done over the last year. And just the last year. We could go further back, technically. Yes, Janelle, that's right. We are still here, but we're demonetized, unfortunately. Which is why you don't have the option to do super chats or super stickers. That's why nobody has membership badges. And you see no Gary emotes. Amy was on Hassan's show. Did you miss the show? Did you miss the show that we did the other day where we watched part of that? It was actually beautiful. We watched Amy with Hassan. It's glorious. All right. Yeah, the only place to find the Gary emotes now is on the Twitch. Or I guess in the Discord server. It's very sad. We want them back. All right, now one big thing that's been in the news this week came out on Monday was a photo. A photo which, how do you describe it exactly? I mean, if you recall last week, there was a big photo. A normal photo, a normal-sized photo, which became big online. Viral, if you will. Which was in fact deemed anti-Semitic by some for depicting just real-life scenario. Unedited photo. Now we've got another one of those on our hands. It's not yet been declared anti-Semitic by anybody. I do have a thought on why. Could be because this one seems blatantly anti-Christian.
What? That's in the Bible.
It's true. A photo of an IDF soldier destroying a Jesus statue in Lebanon started circulating on social media. And people were pretty upset about it. BBC News.
The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has condemned an Israeli soldier who hit a statue of Jesus with a sledgehammer in southern Lebanon. The statue was mounted on a crucifix outside a church in a Christian village that had been occupied by Israeli troops. Mr. Netanyahu has said he regrets any hurt caused to Christian believers in Lebanon and around the world. Well, it comes as the Israeli military has warned residents in southern Lebanon not to move around near border areas and not to return to dozens of villages, despite the agreement of a ceasefire that Israel has ordered its army to use full force against what it calls imminent threats in southern Lebanon, and says its troops will continue to occupy the area. Let's talk to our Middle East correspondent, Yolan Nell, who's in Jerusalem for us now. Yolan, tell us more then about what this soldier did to the statue of Jesus, because we've heard very strong condemnation of that soldier's actions from the Prime Minister, from the Israeli military, various other politicians as well in Israel.
Yeah, so the Israeli Prime Minister was quick to come out with his comments in English on his X account. I think understanding very well the international damage that this could do, this photo that's been shared widely on social media.
Yes, Monob. Dr. President Jesus. Dr. President Jeebus is horrifying. How could they do this to Dr. President Jeebus?
The past couple of days, the Israeli army has confirmed it's a soldier who is at the moment in southern Lebanon, or has been in southern Lebanon in recent days. He's holding what appears to be a sledgehammer or an axe poised just over the face of this statue of Jesus on a crucifix that's been toppled. The understanding is that this is in the village of Double, which is in southern Lebanon, a Maronite Christian village. This was a family's own shrine on the edge of their land, at the edge of the village. It's not clear exactly at the moment what damage was ultimately done, but the Israeli army is saying that they will help the Christian community there to repair this statue. The foreign minister of Israel, Gideon Saar, came out and said that he apologized for this incident and to every Christian who had been hurt by it in their feelings. So you can see that this has really sort of, had a big effect, and that the local priest there told the BBC in Beirut that this was a desecration and, really extremely upsetting for the Christian community in southern Lebanon, in this wide area, which is currently occupied by Israeli forces. Thousands.
Yep, that also, I'm pretty sure, is a war crime, destroying religious statues and other sites like that. Obviously had no military significance, merely a destruction of the culture. And as it turns out, a lot of Christians were quite upset about that. We might dive deeper into that later this weekend. But right now, I'm just trying to get through this quickly. Just trying to get through this quicker tonight, because it's like I am just trying to get back to this right now. It's been such a stressful week. It's been such a fucking stressful week. Just having lost monetization on YouTube suddenly, and for what felt like this incredibly vague and broad, sweeping term that could apply to so many other channels that I know are continue to be monetized, but yet I'm being punished for it arbitrarily, it would seem, being decided by I have faceless, nameless people. It's been difficult for me to get through, which is why I've been hanging out on the Discord server. I don't know how many of you watching right now have been watching with us. I know some people have for sure. We've just been like hanging out on the Discord voice chats last couple of nights because I have not been able to do anything but that. Oh, but I refuse to give up.
Never give up. Never surrender.
Oh, shut up. Never give up. Never surrender. France 24 English up next from Monday. Truth or fake? Oh, truth or fake from France 24. This Jesus statue thing even real?
Well, Vedika Pahel joins me in the studio. Vedika, so the Israeli military has confirmed that a photo of one of its soldiers desecrating a Jesus statue in southern Lebanon is real. Talk us through what we know so far.
That's right, Jenny. This image of an Israeli soldier smashing a statue of Jesus with a sledgehammer in South Lebanon has triggered widespread outrage, and it has gone viral online. Now, the photo was taken close to the Israeli border in the Christian village of Debel, and the IDF has now confirmed that the photo is indeed authentic. In a statement, it said that the soldier's conduct is wholly inconsistent with the values expected of its troops, and that the incident is now being investigated by the Northern Command. It also says that it's working to dismantle dismantle terrorist infrastructure established by Hezbollah in South Lebanon, and it says that it has no intention of harming civilian infrastructure, including religious buildings.
Give me a joke.
The IDF has no intention of harming civilian infrastructure? Really? Ow! Well, then they're either the least accurate military on the planet, or they're a bunch of liars. Oh, I know what it is. I'm just remembering.
And there are questions surrounding Israel's sincerity.
There's some questions surrounding Israel's sincerity, I think. At least for me personally. A lot of questions. Like, I don't think they're being sincere. Anyway, they did investigate. We'll get into the fruits of that investigation later, but we're still going through, like I said, we're going to go through this chronologically tonight together. And took a couple of days for anything to come to fruition. That Al Jazeera up next, still on Monday. Iran stalls talks as the Hormuz crisis deepens.
Is live for us in Tehran. We're hearing from the Iranian Foreign Minister, Abbas Araghchi. Any update on Iran's position or preconditions for these talks?
Well, the situation in Tehran is very complicated. It seems like there is no clear intention for Iran to go and join the negotiating table in Islamabad. And at the same time, there is a flurry of diplomatic efforts in the past 24 hours, especially between Iran's foreign minister and Pakistan's foreign minister. There was two phone calls between them. And in the last one, we hear from Abbas Araghchi emphasizing the stance and the position of Iran's position, saying that the threatening rhetoric and also the attacks on commercial vessels is a fundamental obstacle for joining the diplomatic process. So the situation is complicated, but there is no clear intention from Iran's to join the negotiating table, but might things change later in the coming hours.
Yes. Well, they didn't change in the coming hours. Iran stayed with that stance that it was not going to negotiate with the United States until it stopped doing the illegal blockade and the clearly violating of the ceasefire. That seemed to me like a bare minimum, but of course, Donald Trump didn't let that stop him, saying the extension of the ceasefire was unlikely because peace was going to happen. At least I think that, God, it's hard to keep track. Could have sworn that's what he said. Monday, here's CNN.
President says a potential deal with Iran would be, quote, far better than former President Obama's 2015 agreement. But there's a catch. He needs to get Tehran back to the negotiating table. Today, in an interview with Bloomberg, Trump said it's highly unlikely that he would extend the truce with Iran before it expires on Wednesday evening. Sources tell CNN Vice President J.D. Vance is set to travel to Pakistan for a second round of peace talks, but Tehran says it has no plans to participate. In fact, the regime is vowing retaliation after American forces fired on and seized an Iranian-flagged cargo ship known as the Tuska after it tried to bypass the U.S. blockade. U.S. Central Command sharing this video you see here of yesterday's operation, which shows U.S. Marines on helicopters rappelling down and boarding the ship. CNN's Nick Robertson is live for us from Islamabad in Pakistan. Nick, it is unclear if this new round of talks is actually even going to happen. What are you hearing?
Yeah, I think at the moment the struggle to get the Iranians to commit to come to the table is going to be about as big an effort as it will be then, should they get to the table, to try to bring agreement around the table. I think there's real hope, certainly from the mediators, from Pakistan's perspective, that if they can get Iran to the table, J.D. Vance, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, when they arrive in Pakistan, if the Iranians can get to the table, then the mediators really feel that there is a deal that can be done. So I think in that context, there's some positivity. In the background, of course, there is diplomacy going on, trying to reach out to the Iranians, trying to convince them to come. Conversations, obviously, between Pakistani and U.S. officials at various different levels. But at the moment, the core issue for the Iranians really is the Strait of Hormuz. There were last week when Pakistan.
Exactly. That's what I've been saying this whole time. They've been saying it since the beginning, since Donald Trump announced it. They've been saying this is a clear violation of the ceasefire. The ceasefire which they deemed necessary to be upheld in order to even engage in peace talks. Meanwhile, Trump is doing both, saying we're going to have peace talks and we're going to blockade the Strait. It's just a whirlwind of like contradictory statements at this point that we're having to like decipher. Like I think somebody said like a 12-hour cycle. Yeah, Earth. I mean, basically on like a 12 hours or less cycle. Even sometimes in the same tweets. In some of Trump's tweets, he like contradicts himself in this. Having a tough time.
I'm having a hard time.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Now, back in the States, U.S. military veterans gathered in Congress, at least in the Congress building, on Monday. Here is APT's live coverage of that.
Tribute
You may, like me, I've just gotten done watching this flag folding ceremony here with these three troops, and think to yourself, what could be more patriotic, you know? Well, unfortunately, the U.S. government did not take kindly to these troops being, you know, in the government buildings that they apparently, you know, defended with their lives. As you'll see. Is end the war on Iran. We can't afford another war. We can't afford another war. End the war on Iran. I think it's these two signs repeated 6 or so times, however many times. You got a bunch of flags basically saying, stop spending all of our money on this stupid fucking
immediately,
war.
if not sooner.
However, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. A little too far. You know, veterans are always political bonds. Politicians always love the veterans until they come home and start doing, you know, having opinions. Now, dozens of veterans, like these two women here, were arrested at the Capitol during this protest. This is from The Hill on the 20th, which is, yeah, Monday. 7:30. Dozens of veterans and military family members protesting the Iran war were arrested by U.S. Capitol Police on Monday after they occupied the Cannon House office building in Washington, D.C. U.S. Capitol Police and 66 people were arrested during this demonstration, which was organized by several veterans groups, including About Face, the Center on Conscience and War, Veterans for Peace, Common Defense, and the Fayetteville Resistance Coalition. Military families speak out in 50501 Veterans. A group of people legally entered the Cannon House office building after they went through screening. U.S. Capitol Police said in a statement to The Hill, demonstrations are, quote, not allowed inside congressional buildings, so when they started to protest and refused to stop, we began arresting them. Approximately 66 people were arrested for D.C. Code Section 22-1307, crowding, obstructing, or incommoding? What in the fuck is incommoding? Fuck you. Fuck you. Nobody knows what that word means. Incommoding? For illegally protesting inside of the Cannon House. Oh, no.
Illegal.
Not illegal. Oh, God. That's bad. Illegally protesting inside of the Cannon House office building. The protesters stood in the middle of the Cannon Rotunda, holding red tulips, meant to honor Iranians killed by U.S. strikes, and unveiling banners that said, quote, end the war on Iran, unquote. They also conducted a flag-folding ceremony, meant to symbolize the 13 U.S. troops who have died thus far in the war, chanting anti-war slogans before they were zip-tied by the police and led away. Videos posted to social media show. In a statement, CCW said that the protesters are demanding that House Speaker Little Mike Johnson, a Republican from Louisiana, meet with them to accept the folded flag. Oh! And pledge to not continue to fund the war, which began on February 28th. Okay. So yeah, I think it was like 2/3 or something of the, and they just like ran out of zip ties or something and said, fuck it. Like two-thirds of the demonstrators, I have no idea why they chose only 2/3 of the demonstrators, whatever. 2/3 of the demonstrators were arrested. Great patriots. Not appreciated when they come home and use the First Amendment.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Good.
Yes, Amy Goodman up next here with the clip.
Columbia Arican _9505 just cheered 100 bits. Apologies all, this is another service announcement. Will the new owner of the Millennium Falcon please move your starship? It is illegal parked in front of a fire hydrant.
Illegal.
Please keep in mind we do have designated parking spaces for every citizen. Please use them. Thank you. End of this service announcement.
Very, very helpful. Thank you. I actually like these public service announcements. Got a certain vibe to them. You're really adding to the ambiance of the stream. I appreciate that. 100 biddies. Also appreciated. We've made some amount of progress on the Galactic content goal. I think we're at about halfway. About halfway. Perhaps a little more. I'll count at the first break, which will take in a little bit. 2 hours. We'll do it at 2. We'll do the first break at 2 hours. I don't know how long we're going to go tonight. Not going to lie. I'll do what I got. I'll do what I got, what I can. I'm not promising anything crazy. Just because. just because. Oh, I feel like I'm doing like an out of body stream. Like I'm like looking down at myself. Yes, it's a good reminder. Another good reminder about parking. All right, democracy now up next. Talk a little bit about Gaza. I'm afraid I was not able today because I've been so upset. Like I said, I've been actually struggling to be on my YouTube. I think everybody here knows I'm in love with YouTube. I use it all the time. When I'm not streaming, I'm not working on the stream. Even sometimes when I am working on the stream, I am in other streams. Talking to people in the chats because I love YouTube that much. I feel betrayed. I feel betrayed for having done
I did everything
wrong.
right and they indicted me.
And so I struggle. I am
having trouble doing the show.
I'm going to do it again. Like I said.
Not going to do it. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture.
Not going to surrender.
Never give up, never will surrender.
Dull_surprise just cheered 1,000 bits.
Goddamn, dull surprise with 1,000 bits. Incredibly generous. Did you get banned from YouTube? No, I'm not banned from YouTube. We're demonetized this time. So in a way, it's like a step up. I'll take it. I'll take it for now. I mean, I hate it. I won't take it. I'm going to fight back. I'm going to try and get us remonetized. But in terms of scale, in the last 6 months, this is the second time we've had issues. I will take having the channel and being able to tell all of the space fams that we've had this happen, rather than last time where we weren't able to do that, and only people who followed us on Twitter, on Twitch, or were in the Discord had any idea what was going on. Which, of course, I guess, could technically happen. God forbid, Gary forbid, knock on Spacewood. Very sad. We've been stripped of all of our beautiful emotes. Very frustrating. All of the badges.
Looney Tunes 9000 just cheered 100 bits. Orange circle emoji. Excuse me, Mr. Woke Spaceman, aka Jordan Peterson, aka Canada's Kermit the Frog. I am announcing today that I am hiring Statler and Waldorf from the Muppets. Statler will head the HHS, and Waldorf will head DHS to investigate to the Zionist illegal aliens at YouTube. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President King Donald Trump.
Looney, thank you for the bits. Hype train activated over there, level 1, 75% done. Almost at that level 2, people. Make it happen. We're quick. It'll be real quick. Any other donation from anybody else? Speaking of which, donations, we're making serious progress now with those last 2 donos. I don't know exactly how far we're now, but I'll let you know. I think we're closer to 2/3 of the way done, though. Staying focused. Keep the focus, Jamlord. Keep the focus. I lost my place. Ah, right. Amy Goodman. Gaza.
Columbia Arican _9505 just cheered 100 bits. Sorry once again, this is a service announcement. Please avoid Deck 13, our security teams are engaging against ravenous Ewoks from the Endor delegation. If you need to use the bathroom, please use the ones from Deck 14. Thank you.
Thank you, Columbia Regan, for the bits and the service announcement and the update on Deck 13. That sounds perilous. I would avoid it. To Democracy Now! Talk about Gaza. From Monday.
As we continue to look at the U.S. and Israeli war in Iran, we're joined now by Mariam Jamshidi. She's an Iranian-American associate professor of law at the University of Colorado Law School and a non-resident fellow at the Quincy Institute. She's written a new piece for The Nation magazine headlined, "Only One Side Has Clearly Broken the Law in the Strait of Hormuz, and it isn't Iran." Professor Jamshidi, explain.
Hi, Amy. Thanks for having me. So, what I was trying to get at in that piece is that, there's been a lot of international outcry about what Iran has done in the Strait, specifically its efforts to regulate passage of ships through the Strait and to charge certain ships a fee for going through the Strait. The international rhetoric has been that what Iran is doing is completely and clearly illegal. And from my perspective, that's not entirely true. This is not a black and white issue. Iran does have a reasonable legal argument to regulating the Strait of Hormuz, as well as to charging fees. By contrast, the criticism of what the United States and Israel has done to Iran, which is an aggressive and illegal war, has been more muted, in particular from Western states as well as from some of the regional Arab states. And I think this contrast between these two reactions is very telling. On the one hand, total condemnation of Iran on legal issues that are far from clear, and very more muted criticism or limited criticism of the United States and Israel when it comes to actions they've taken that are very clearly unlawful under international law. I think this says a lot about the ways in which international law is being deployed in this moment as a way of restraining and regulating Iranian behavior while effectively allowing the United States and Israel a free hand to do what they want against the Iranian government.
What do you think this unprovoked war that Israel and the U.S., this war of choice, as it's called, have engaged in with Iran, has done to international law and people's perspective view of it around?
Before I get that answer, I just want to say two things. One, fascinating. This is exactly, of course, what I've been saying this whole time, that Iran actually does have some legal basis on which to block the Strait because it's their territorial waters. Not entirely, but I think it's like more than 50%, which is why they have like a deal between them, like the UAE and I think possibly Oman, to like share these waters and to allow people up until now free of charge just through it, just for benefit of the Gulf.
Aren't I a good guy?
But of course, as that woman has said, it's been framed in a way as if it's completely unfounded. I mean, it's similar to if Panama was under attack and they decided to shut down the Panama Canal. Slightly different because, of course, the Panama Canal was built. It's a natural waterway, but it exists, and it's a very, very important commercial waterway. Damon Burrito, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I also want to say thank you to, I can't say who, because you didn't say that you wanted to get the shout out, but I will read the message that you wrote. This is from, I'll just say NB. Funds for the gunship. Can't stay punished GSL forever. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Appreciate the 15 bones. Really helps us out. You know, it's disturbing. Like, and I like debated it with myself before the stream. I was like, all right, do I update the galactic deficit to reflect all the money we've lost this month? or do I do that for next month's deficit? And I've decided to take it one step at a time and to tackle the financing of April's galactic deficit, and we'll deal with May when we get done with this one. Although we're getting super close, which is shocking to me. We still have a whole fucking week right now. Like 30 bones. Like 33 bones. Exactly. It was you, Parrot? It was you? Oh, I didn't know. It was perf. It was perf. You gotta say in the message. Because my modus operandi is to err on the side of caution and not say, because I assume many people are donating from their personal PayPal accounts. And so I don't want to just like throw your shit out there. You know, that's just me. That seems bad form. I know there's got to be some people who prefer the anonymity, which is why I err on the side of caution. Does anyone know what the dots mean on the map? Which map? Map dots. Map dots. Oh, the map dots back here. These dots. These dots. I think. Are you asking what's the difference between the dots and the triangles with the arrows? Puppy treat time. Puppy treat time from Omega. What was I saying? Oh, right. Right. The dots and triangles. I think I could be wrong. And every map's going to use different legends, right? Like some things are going to mean different things. But I don't know source of this map. But I feel like it's probably stationary and moving. It must have to do something to do with stationary and or moving ships, right? It's got to. Like the red and the green might. I actually don't know 100%. You would assume it's something like that. Red and green may relate to how long it's been since it moved or the direction of travel. Although I think it's got to be. It can't be direction. It can't be direction. Okay. What was I doing? Oh, right. We're going to talk about not just impunity with regard to the Strait. We should talk about Gaza. When do they switch that topic?
Important to understand is that states like Iran are also at the same time saying, no, international law matters very much. And
Columbiarican_9505 just cheered 100 bits. Apologies GSL, I do have one more service announcement. For the person responsible in hacking the food synthesizer on deck 2, turning coffee into decaf, and all foods to vegan while leaving a note saying kiss my Uranus, please come forward. You have caused a disruption in sickbay due to all the caffeine withdrawals. Thank you.
Wow. Oh, that's not good. We're gonna have some very grumpy people. We don't solve that situation soon.
No!
No caffeine. Thank you for the bits.
expect to be treated as equals under international law. Iran in this moment is free.
Wait, there was something I was going to say.
Help! I'm being repressed!
I can't remember what it was. BCat or Monope said that BCat was right, or BCat said that Monope was right about something, but I don't know what the thing is. BCat said that Monope was right about something. But I don't... What am I supposed to update? I don't know what you're talking about. What needs updating? I'm very confused. Sweaty Over, thank you for the follow. Getting a lot of followers over on Twitch today. We even got a YouTube sub. We even got a YouTube sub. The channel still exists. We just don't get to make money. People will watch our videos, and I won't make money. Very frustrating. Although speaking of money, we're getting very, very close, I think, to completing the galactic deficit right now. As well, no, I mean not just the deficit though, as well as the galactic content goal. Right? It's like 15 away. 30 away. 30 away. All right. Okay. They're slightly different.
A lot of what it's doing in international law terms, because it understands that if international law is truly going to be thrown into the dustbin, then it's going to be far more vulnerable on the international stage. So we basically see a battle. We see a battle between, on the one side, states like Israel and the United States, states that are by and large Western, basically saying international law doesn't apply to us. We can do what we want. And then other states like Iran, states of the global South, saying, no, we want international law. We value international law. International law is necessary to ensuring that we are sovereign and equal to other states on the international scale. And so we are not going to let international law just be taken away from us.
Mm-hmm. Now, of course, Israel has completely ignored international law in Gaza. And not just in Gaza. I mean, it literally seized Egyptian territory and Syrian territory and Lebanese territory in the last, 2.5 years. We've been watching it happen over and over and over again. And honestly, for much longer than that. But people have short memories. See Mo's message in the chat. She said to update the deficit goal. Update the deficit. Well, that's what I'm saying, though. I'm not going to update it until we complete this month. We're so close anyway, right? And the thing is we're on different threat levels, right? Like the deficit for next month, we would never, we're talking about, right? I just want to be clear what we're talking about here. It's like the money that we would not have received yet until next month at this time. Right, like YouTube payday is like the 21st or whatever. And so I wouldn't have seen that money until next like 4 weeks from now. So I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, right? That's still technically threat level green, right? We're threat level orange on the current galactic deficit, which is why I just don't want to get things crossed. I just want to confuse people. I do understand. I get it. You want to help. But I don't want to confuse people. What happens if you mix threat level green with threat level orange? That's unprecedented. You can't do that. Get like threat level brown or something. All right. I still haven't prepared for this situation. I mean, I don't even know. Like, they're claiming all these things. Like this authenticity thing is such bullshit. Okay, that's just haunting. I don't think I want to listen to this. I'm trying to think of what music I can listen to right now. I could play. I have on one of these hard drives. I could have sworn I had a lot. Where is it? I have too many hard drives.
For the very soul of our nation.
Remember this?
We have seen what can be unburned.
Do you remember this song? Hold on. Screw it. I'm putting this on just to torture everyone.
We have seen what can be unburned by what has been. To see what can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. To see what can be unburdened by what has been. Unburdened by what has been. And knowing what can be. What we know can be unburdened by what has been.
All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick galactic intermission. The reason we're listening to this song is it's a mix that I made myself. So I own the rights to this song. They can't claim I don't own it. This is mine. All right, quick galactic intermission. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Yeah. Here are the messages. Hope you've all been enjoying the show so far. If you haven't already, hit that follow button on Twitch and the subscribe button on YouTube. Don't forget to like the stream too. And while you're at it, do consider contributing to the Galactic News Network, as we are completely funded by individuals like you. A lot of great ways out there for you to show your support. Twitch, bits, power-ups, subs, gifted subs, prime subs, Cash App, and PayPal. If you prefer your money, go directly to funding the stream rather than to Amazon. Cash the throne. God, I'm thrown off. Throne, if you'd like to contribute in very specific ways. Crowdfunding items that would eventually arrive at my door. Of course, the very best way to get the most space benefits for your Earth dollar still remains Patreon, where for the low price of $3 a month, you can get access to a myriad space benefits unseen by the rest of the goddamn Milky Way galaxy.
What now? To see what can be unburdened by what has been. To see what is possible. To see what can be unburdened by what has been. We see what can be unburdened by what has been. To see what can be unburdened by what has been. The ability to see what can be unburdened
All All right, Space Fams, you know what that beeping means? It, of course, means that the break is coming to an end. And for the stream to begin once again. So, get back in those seats. Otherwise, you're going to miss it. By the way, all this music brought to you by...
Columbiarican_9505 just cheered 100 bits. Last service announcement of the evening. We are seeking volunteers for a diplomatic mission to the Klingon home world. Sadly, we lost the last delegation to unforeseen incidents while on Kronos. To avoid any issues, please get your things in order and kiss your loved ones goodbye before signing up. Thank you.
Oh boy. It's a little bleak. It's a little bit of a bleak PSA. I'm not gonna lie. What did I say? Oh, right. Yeah. All this music brought to you by me, Galactic Stream. That's right. This is what I got available on the hard drives I have connected. Some stuff I've made in the past. So, can't get hit for this. This is as authentic as it gets, motherfucker. All right, let's do it. Get back to talking about Operation Epstein Fury. Moving on from, what was it, Monday? I think the last day, yeah. Moving on from Monday to Tuesday. CNBC with the clip next. Strait of Hormuz crisis. Oh, no. This is exactly what I've been telling everyone's coming. I've been saying it. Deep cut GSL, that's right. As authentic as it gets. It's definitely David Warner. What's definitely, is that voice supposed to be David? What voice? Huh? Who? What? What are we talking about? I'm very confused. I'm very confused. What was I saying? Right, CNBC. I've been saying this. I've been saying it, and I've been saying it. Oh, I've been saying it so much. Wait, didn't Omega feed the puppy before we went to break? I think they did. Okay, oh, right. I've been saying this. I'm saying it, that we're going to see this eventually. And now even all of the stock people are saying it. Oh, let's go to CNBC. Oh, it's bad. Oh, it's not good. Like I've been saying, the effects of the Hormuz crisis are not going to be seen immediately, especially in places like the United States, where we're far removed in some aspects of these things. But the longer this goes on, the more it becomes a certainty that the effects of this will be felt at different times, agriculturally. When a harvest season comes in the United States, oh, we're going to see it, because the farmers will not have had enough fertilizer to grow the crops to the size that we expect. So it's going to be a smaller yield, effectively causing inflation. Same thing's going to happen come the holidays. Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas. The times that Americans love to spend the most on their celebrations. Where do those things come from, I ask you? What are they made of? Are they made of plastic? And
China!
Are they coming from China?
I have to have my China.
Well, we're going to have some problems.
Immediately, if not sooner.
Christmas is still 8 months away, but Lo Ling-ping is already worried about a bad holiday season. Many customers, she says, are holding off on orders. Lo makes artificial trees for the U.S. and Europe. The Iran war has disrupted shipping and hiked oil prices, raising her costs per tree by 10%.
This is the material used to make Lo's artificial trees. It's PET plastic derived from oil.
For these bags alone, the price is up 15%, and the PET in these needles rose around 5%, she tells me. Her revenue is down an eighth because of the lost orders. Higher costs due to the stalled Strait of Hormuz is hitting the whole industry hard.
Yiwu is known as China's Christmas capital. This is a time of year when the factories are normally gearing up to make sure that their products are on the store shelves for the Christmas shopping season.
Zhuo Mei says plastic prices for her tinsel are up as much as 40%. The war happened at a bad time, right when we need to get our shipments out, she says. It's very painful for us manufacturers. Chen Lian fears even further price increases. Everyone needs to deliver between May and August, so demand is concentrated, she explains. Material prices are bound to go up.
That's a good point. Yeah. They all are supposed to be shipping out.
Immediately, if not sooner.
Right? I don't know if anybody's ever worked in retail, but I mean, every single year they try and push up holiday season first off. Everybody knows that. But like, if you work in retail, like, you get some of this stuff like ahead of time. You got like, stock rooms completely filled with holiday stuff for like a month ahead. It's just piling up, more and more of it coming in. Like, it's insane. But like, they get ahead, they're like, yeah. And there's like warehouses that feed the warehouses and feed the stores. Oh my God. So it's like all coming now. It's all coming right now. So whatever prices are right now, it's set in stone. Between May and August. So between immediately, if not sooner, and 2 months from now. 3 months from now.
To adjust, Lo has accelerated shipments. When her contracts allow, she passes on some cost. And for next year, she aims to design lower-end trees. Lo sees American shoppers stuck this season paying at least 15% more.
I don't think China needs to aim for cheaper stuff. That doesn't feel like the direction that we need things to go in. We just need to stop having such a ridiculous system and situation that we're currently find ourselves in. Christmas is going to be raunchy than the first COVID Christmas. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. I don't feel good about it.
This is ridiculous!
It is ridiculous. Check my Cash App? Oh, my PayPal. Check my PayPal. Yep. I'll check my PayPal. Holy shnikes. Sorry I didn't look at my phone. I'm trying to do the show, but holy cow. I need to find a way to, like, notify myself on my computer so I don't have to look at my phone for some of this shit. Be so much better. Production value-wise. Incredible donation. Incredible generosity from Glitchmaster. Over on PayPal. With a service announcement. Let's see what that is. Hold on. I just closed the app because I was switching over to switch that. Figured it out. You figured it out how you're inauthentic. You what? No. Sorry to burst everyone's bubble. You're not really in outer space.
No! How rude.
How dare you say that? How dare you say that? I'm not out in outer space, Glitchmaster. Glitchmaster, you've betrayed me. You, Glitchmaster. No. I thought the ruse was holding. You've outed me. How dare you point to the fact that I'm inauthentically not actually in space? Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Inauthentically not in space. And you know what? This is going to shock everybody. I'm about to blow everybody's mind. Santa's not real. Just hold on. Santa's not real. The Hulk? Not a real guy. Not green? I mean, he's played by a real guy in real life. But, no actual human being, radioactive or not, can increase their size by 10x and then jump however high. I can't remember exactly how. He jumps quite high. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a bunch of things that exist. Not real, as it turns out. Not real. Professor Xavier can't control things with his mind. He's just a guy in a film studio. Correct. No, I know. People are in shock. I see it right now. Chat's preparing to start a revolt. Settle down. Settle down. We're all adults here. We're all adults here. We can handle this. We can handle this information. We all should have known. We all should have known this information ahead. We should have known this as adults. We should have known this. Even as children, honestly. I think at some point, I'm not a parent. I'm not your child's parent. I think, 13 is probably a good time to let your kid know, actually, that's fake. It's fine if you like it, but it's fake. Can't do that. Mostly just for safety purposes. Like, you can't jump off that building. That's dangerous. Mutiny. Don't do it. Don't do it. No. I didn't propagate those lies. Okay? That wasn't me. I didn't do that. I'm if anything, you should be mutinying against DC, right? DC Comics and Marvel Comics. I'm just realizing I don't know what the D in DC stands for. I'm pretty sure the C stands for comics. I'm just saying D comics. Just don't care that much. Care enough to care, Not a big deal. Wouldn't change my enjoyment or lack thereof, one way or the other. All right, moving on from Christmas, which I just ruined clearly by outing everyone's favorite fictional characters. It's very rude. Terrible person. I'll show you. Oh no. You'll show me an adult? Oh boy. Oh no. I realized though I can still technically wait, what is this doing over here? And what? How? How and what? How does this happen? I had this nicely set up. Rudely. I can still at least do this. I still can highlight your messages. They're just not super chats anymore. They're just regular chats. In my mind, they're still super. Okay, you're all still super in my book. All right, Space Fams? And that's authentic. I mean that. All of you Space Fams. God damn it. And that's why we'll highlight all of your beauty. Regardless of whether YouTube wants to call them super chats. They're super chats to me. All right? But thank you for the 100 bones. Glitchmaster. Galactic content goal completed. Galactic deficit for April completed. Shutting it down. Shutting it down. Nope. Yeah. There we go. Shut it down. There we go. I'll update it for tomorrow. I'll update it tomorrow. I'll figure it out. It's like $700. Oh, God. Thank you so much. You have no idea. I hit like a peak state of stress. Like, I feel like I hit like PTSD right now. A little bit. Like, just having lost all of that income so suddenly. Having the already fairly sizable existing galactic deficit to finance. All of this stuff already going on. Like, the news cycle was already stressing me. I think everybody here knows the news cycle is already stressing me out. It's like burning the candle at both ends, just trying to get this all done every week. Like, talk about like high effort. Like, that's the other thing about this. Like, I put so much effort into this. To be called low fucking effort, it's just incredibly, just disrespectful. Like, I feel slighted. There's low effort, really, really low effort. Says who? According to what? Oh, that one really bugs me. Low effort. Really gets under your skin. You put your whole life into something, and they're like, yeah, actually, you're a low effort. This is mass-produced low effort trash. You're trash. You know what's been fascinating, though? Is that our Twitch audience, as YouTube continues to punish us, our Twitch audience continues to grow, which has been nice. Slowly but surely. I mean, before YouTube punished us the first time, we had stopped streaming to Twitch entirely. Now, Twitch numbers are literally competing with YouTube's, at least on viewership. And watch times and views. They're trying to discourage me.
How rude.
That's rude. It seems unnecessary. I feel like I'm already living through it. I'm like constantly fighting back a constant state of discouragement. Like, are you kidding me? I see people do so much better than me.
I'm being repressed.
Actually doing low effort content. I see genuine low effort content all over the fucking place, and I see them doing so much better than me. People who do no research. People who aren't even actually, like, contributing to the content. They're just sort of, like, clipping content that already exists. Like, and not commenting on it. Nothing. Right? And they do so much better than me. AI slop has been annihilating my numbers. Right? I've been watching it. People making just boatloads of cash. I sit here grinding away 8 hours a day live on the platform. But I'm the low effort one. I mean, they must know that I'm live on the platform. What's low effort about that? That's what I'd like to know. All right, let's move on from the Operation Epstein Fury that stole Christmas to Donald Trump's declaration on Tuesday. All right, just to be clear on what happened this week. I know it's only been a couple hours since we went over it. I just want to remind everybody in case you're just tuning in or you're forgetting. You've already forgotten. Whatever tense of the verb forget you're currently in. Donald Trump this weekend said Bridge Day and Power Plant Day were going to come back in full force if we didn't get a deal. Then claimed that we were sending people to Pakistan for peace talks, while simultaneously seizing a Iranian tanker leaving the Strait of Hormuz, the Gulf of Oman. At the same time, Iran saying that there were no peace talks and they were not sending anyone to Islamabad. And then Donald Trump, what else? He said something. I can't remember what he said. Something else too. I can't remember what it was. He's always saying things. It's hard to remember every single detail. But he said all those things. Right? Now we find ourselves here Tuesday, where Donald Trump announced an indefinite ceasefire in Iran. Indefinite.
Immediately, if not sooner.
CNN.
Omega 5 Tar gifted a tier 1 subscription to Radar_Ranger.
Thank you, Omega. Oh wait. I almost forgot. I got plus. There we go. How do I do that? Come on.
Come on! I made a huge tiny mistake.
We all deserve this. Beautiful confetti. That's right, everybody. We did it. We completed the Galactic content goal. That's for sure. We completed the goal. So we're going to have a little confetti party to signify that goal. This momentous moment. Together as a community. So bask in the glory. Together. A moment brought to you by space fams like you. And without you, viewers like you, things like this would not happen. In fact, this stream would cease to exist. More than ever. I appreciate each and every one of you. Not just those who contributed to the Galactic content goal or the financing of the Galactic deficits, but just those of you who are currently watching the stream. Those of you who have followed us on Twitch, subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit that little bell icon or the like button. It's all very helpful. Keeps us alive. And I appreciate you for it. Yes, of course. 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 Yes. Yes, of course. Of course. Of course. Yes, of course. Thank you for the applause. That's a fun one. That's fun. All right, everybody. Confetti party done. I'm glad people over on Twitch agree. But of course they do. People like, yes, of course. Agree. Of course. Yes. Okay, I'm broken. All right. Moving along. CNN, like I was saying, to talk about the indefinite Iranian ceasefire announced by the Supreme Leader, aka Cyclone Cheeto.
Cyclone Cheeto.
So we've got a little bit of breaking news here. There's a new statement from President Trump just posted on his Truth Social platform. He says this, quote, based on the fact that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, not unexpectedly.
This is on, but just to be clear, this is on Donald Trump's Truth Social, okay? At the real Donald J. Trump. Or at the real Donald Trump, whatever it is. All caps. Statement of President Donald J. Trump, colon. Based on the fact that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, not unexpectedly so, and upon the request of capital F Field Marshal Asim Munir and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif of Pakistan, we have been asked to hold our capital A attack on the country of Iran until such time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal. I have therefore directed our military to continue the capital B blockade, and in all other respects remain ready and able, and will therefore extend the capital C ceasefire until such time as their proposal is submitted and discussions are concluded. One way or the other, President Donald J. Trump. Many retweets and 515 likes. Everybody saying it. There you go. We're extending the ceasefire. We're just extending it for some time. Until the proposal is submitted. Whenever that happens. Whenever that happens, then the ceasefire will be done. Yeah, I don't think there's any other way to describe that than indefinite. Unclear how long the ceasefire is to last, if you were to take Trump's truths as policy, which, as we've heard many times, may not be the best strategy. Truths aren't policy, as it turns out, unfortunately. Well, fortunately and or fortunately. Unfortunately, in the sense that it makes it very difficult to know what the hell is happening at any given time. Perhaps fortunately, because the insane things that go on Truth Social probably shouldn't be policy. All right, now, staying focused. I love about this tweet the most. I just have to go back to Tweet Social. All right, Tweet Social. I love how this is on Trump's own Truth Social, which is supposed to be, I mean, we all know he can't possibly be doing all the tweets on Truth Social for himself. We've talked about it, how he has a whole team of people coming up with tweets for his Truth Social account, where he just sort of signs off on them. I love how it starts off with all caps statement of President Donald J. Trump, as if we don't know. Like, who is looking at this and thinking to themselves, I wonder who tweeted this on Truth Social?
Omega 5 Tar just cheered 100 bits. But the Dow right now.
Ah, that's a good point. Thank you, Omega, for reminding us all. Here we are talking about all of these little stupid details. I sound like a lib. I sound like a stupid lib talking about details when I should be talking about the Dow.
The Dow right
Columbia _9 just cheered 100 bits. So Trump doing this gives incentive for Iran to just ignore Trump. Cause all Trump is gonna do is extend the ceasefire.
Yeah, pretty much, CR. I have no further notes. Thank you both of you for the biddies.
The
We should be talking
Dow,
about the Dow.
the Dow right now is over. The Dow is over 50.
I mean, it's just a statement of President Donald J. Trump. I just don't know why that had to go there. Who was looking at that tweet thinking to themselves, I wonder who put this. I wonder. It's like there's no clues. It's like there's no clues. It's Donald J. Trump at the real Donald Trump. I wonder. Who could this be? Untrue Social. Ah, God. Probably Chuck Schumer. Maybe Joe Biden.
In the race.
Probably Sleepy Joe. Sounds like something he'd say. And then at the end, it wraps up with President Donald J. Trump. So Donald Trump is four times. I just keep looking back at it. 4 times. 4 times. I'm doing it again. Look at it. 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's such an egomaniac. Make sure everybody knows this is me. I'm the great peace president. President Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump. Okay, I think that's enough Donald J. Trumps. I think they get it. So ceasefire, indefinite ceasefire, until Iran. Now I guess it's in. I would describe this as Iran holding all the cards. Am I wrong? Am I the only person who sees it that way? Dom's basically saying, up to them. Ball's in their court. Ball's in their court. It's your move, Iran. Now, while Donald Trump was tweeting more nonsense on Truth Social, or was it truthing more nonsense on Tweet Social? Whatever it's called. There was a growing concern among some. Well, what I referred to right now is a situation militarily, which I actually sort of referenced earlier. Sort of made a brief mention of. And that is the supply of missiles which the United States may or may not have access to. More not than may. Because according to new reports, the United States may have burned through nearly half of its entire missile supply in this brief 55 day, however many days it's been now. 55, I think, is wow. Not good. It's not good what I'm saying. Feels like America's less safe. I know that we were promised a lot of stuff, so it's hard to keep track of. I could have sworn they mentioned that the U.S. is going to be way, way safer. Right? We're going to make America safe again? No, Maha is make America healthy again. That's a different one. But they were saying something about Masa. We were going to make it safe. But having less missiles, especially, I mean, so many like missile perverts, I feel like, over on the Republicans. They must be losing their minds hearing statistics like this. What are we going to do?
CNN has learned that the U.S. military has significantly depleted its stockpile of key missiles during the war with Iran. And according to experts, this reduction is so severe it has created a near-term risk of the U.S. running out of ammunition should a future conflict arise in the next few years. CNN's Natasha Bertrand is with us now with her reporting on this. It's some new reporting here. Natasha, walk us through what you've learned.
Yeah, Brianna, so according to this new study by the Center for Strategic and International Studies, which was, their findings were confirmed by 3 sources familiar with recent Pentagon assessments of U.S. stockpiles, the U.S. is running dangerously low on some of these key munitions that would be required to confront a near-peer adversary in the short term, like China, for example. So while the U.S. does still have sufficient munitions to continue bombing Iran, for example, if the shaky ceasefire were to fall apart, if they were to need to confront an adversary like China or like Russia.
Am I the only one seeing the math? Like, I don't know at what rate they're being replenished, but if we went through more than half of the existing missile supplies, wouldn't it make sense to say that in 55 days we're going to be completely out of missiles? If we continue at the rate that we've been going at? Because we've been claiming, Donald Trump has at least, that the Iranian military is completely out of weaponry. Gone. Boat's gone. Boat's gone. Missiles gone. Air defense gone. Navy gone. Planes gone. All gone. But now we're more than half gone with the missiles on our side, is what it's sounding like. And in 55 days, we're going to be completely gone. That doesn't sound good. Just me, but that math ain't mathing. That's not a good picture. It's a very bad situation if you're the sort of person who thinks we need to have the world's largest missile supply to protect ourselves.
Then that could pose significant problems for the United States. Now, just to give you an example of how much the U.S. stockpile has been depleted over the last 7+ weeks of war on Iran, according to this assessment and the sources that we spoke to, the U.S. military has expended at least 45% of its stockpile of precision strike missiles, at least half of its inventory of THAAD missiles, which are designed to intercept ballistic missiles, and nearly 50% of its stockpile of Patriot air defense interceptor missiles, which are, of course, very key air defense munitions. Now, the U.S. military has also expended approximately 30% of its Tomahawk missiles stockpile, which are those long-range munitions that are really key to attacking targets further away.
Yeah.
Omega 5 Tar just cheered 100 bits. We can just use our infinite missile glitch.
Infinite missiles glitch. That makes sense. See, I was thinking, what's this? Doesn't seem like there's a lot of good solutions to this. Maybe we should stop the war. But infinite missiles glitch. What is the code for that again? Remind me. Gonna need that probably. Or we're gonna need to stop this insane war. Or somehow we're gonna have to spend more money on missiles. You may be asking yourself, how are we spending all this money on all this stuff? It's because all this money isn't actually even going to operating the military. Well, much of it isn't going to not operating the military and just insane pet projects of Lockheed Martin and Palantir, little experiments here and there, multi-billion-dollar surveillance projects, or say, I don't know, like the F-35 which was supposed to be completely like undefeatable, but wasn't one shot down a couple weeks ago? That's what I'm saying, is stuff like that. Up, down, left, right, select start. Yes, let's try that. See if that works. All right. Let's go here next.
Bernie Barbie just cheered 100 bits. I forgot I had a few bits.
Well, thank you, BCat, for the bits. I appreciate it. Bits keep the galactic space station orbiting the planet. I appreciate you. It's good to know that even though we're demonetized, we're still perhaps not going to go completely destitute. And that you all haven't just abandoned us. It was nice to get that raid from the Humans Report and from Matt Bender. A couple of my leftist homies. If you count homies as people you've never met or spoken directly to. What was I doing? I was saying things. Oh, right. The Majority Report. More space homies. Of this similar variety. 2 days ago. Tuesday. Let's talk about what Benjamin Netanyahu's been up to. I'll be right back.
It's also important, I think, to unpack what the right-wing arguments right now are about Israel. I think for anybody under 50, if you are not criticizing Israel, you have no credibility for the most part. It's over. It's done. And that's why the Zionists are engaging in a project of basically whale hunting these large media organizations so that they can neutralize them, or large TikTok, or social media platforms so they can neutralize them. And then, trying to do these defensive actions of smearing Hassan as some sort of unreliable narrator because of his influence on young people at this point. But that's over for anybody who is under 50. But the question is, where do we steer this conversation? And you'll notice that on the right, they focus a lot on criticisms of Israel. It's much less focused on Palestinians and their liberation. When Tucker Carlson talks about Palestinians, it's disproportionately Palestinian Christians. And he speaks about their actions in moral terms, which in the short term I think is helpful. But you see a divide in how, say, Zohran Mamdani speaks about, or Abdullah Sayed, who we're going to be speaking to shortly, about Israel, or Graham Plattner, where it's like we have to fundamentally change our relationship with this state, or speaking about it within the terms of universal human rights. What is so convenient for Tucker and Candace and all these right-wingers that went all in to support Donald Trump is they are outsourcing deflecting blame from themselves for their support of Trump by just blaming Israel, but two, I think most critically, also washing the hands of U.S. empire for creating the monster that is Israel. And so then Tucker doesn't really have to examine his past support for things like the Iraq War, although now he's blaming it on Israel now. It's just, you don't have to look at the underpinnings of our surveillance state, of ICE, of DHS, of all of the stuff that came out of 9/11 and the outgrowth of the national security state if you can just blame Israel.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And actually I was talking to Norm Finkelstein about this, and he feels very strongly about being frustrated with the sort of willful blindness about the way that the U.S. empire supports Israel more broadly, and how the Israel lobby obviously is very influential. And Netanyahu has been very influential with regards to Donald Trump and Mary Madelson and that money, like not denying the power of that whatsoever. But the way in which U.S. empire has seen Israel as being central to their interests in the Middle East. And so if you're erasing that part, you're not getting the whole picture. And then the other piece here, just from a leftist, rightist perspective, is for most of these right-wing creators we're talking about, it's not that they're arguing from a place of we want universal human rights. They're arguing from a place of we want a different ethno-supremacist stack. We feel the Jews are being put up top. Yep. We don't want them there. We want a different ordering of who's in charge and who gets to call the shots. And that's really their, at bottom, their issue.
Yeah, and that is what's unfortunate, is that this insistence on so many, especially those in power or in powerful positions communications-wise, like the ADL, pushing this conflatory sort of narrative between all Jewish people and the state of Israel and the state of Israel and all Jewish people, and it foments anti-Semitism. It makes worse the thing they claim to be fighting against. It's an incredibly cynical, disgusting political move on behalf of a nation state rather than on the thing that it claims to be against. And it's very frustrating. And it's honestly incredibly frustrating that it continues to be a narrative that is accepted by so many people. Yes, BCAT is quite demoralizing, but I've at least gotten through the worst initial phase of it. Like, I've accepted, at least. I've accepted my situation, and I'm now trying to figure out what I'm going to do next. Right? I've got a concept of a plan, but I haven't fully laid it out yet, mostly because I've been so upset, and because it's just another thing on top. Like, right? Like, it's another thing. Right? Like, I'm not the only person that, like, people know how stressed and busy I've been, right? Trying to get, like, the midterm election stuff done. Speaking of which, I added in channels. If people haven't seen it, if you're in the Galactic Discord server, I added in a whole set of channels under a category called elections. I actually made 3 different categories. It's called elections, which describes what's going on. We got U.S. elections, and we got Canada elections. I've split them up by state and by province, because I know we have a bunch of U.S. and Canadian viewers. And at some point, maybe we'll do U.K. too, since I know we've got a bunch of U.K. viewers, maybe even Australia. I think of all the countries, we really have a weirdly wide audience. But for now, U.S. and Canada were the first I thought. North America. We'll move outwards from there. But I've created like separate channels for people to tell people what's going on in their state, or people to look into what's going on with their state, or just to talk about what's going on in their state, posting whatever's relevant, perhaps, just whatever you find, information that you think is important to others voting in the state. Of course, I already created the Google Drive spreadsheet for people to sign up and to spread information about districts they find. The easy way to sign up to that is just clicking the link in the Discord. Trying to do as much as we can. But adding in, like, having to prove my authenticity and, like, how to go about, like, solving the situation is not what I wanted. It's not what I needed. It's another thing on my plate that really I don't appreciate having. Feels sort of unnecessary and unfair. But I've at least moved to the point of acceptance, and the planning phase has now begun. Stand back and stand by. That's what I'm saying, space fans. By the way, here's a hint. If anybody is annoyed by the number of channels that you have to, like, scroll through, I know some people don't know how to use Discord very well. You can click a category, such as the one I just referenced with all 50 states in it. You can just click it, and it'll minimize it. It'll only show the latest channel that you've selected. And that'll help with the clutter. So you could just select your state, minimize it, so you'll only see, like, when your state gets notifications. Unless you select off of that, which of course you probably will. But you get what I'm saying. In theory. Now, leaders in Pakistan have been on the phones, working the diplomatic talks, trying to get Iran and the United States to a workable deal, or at the very least, to a place where they could have a second round of talks. First round didn't even last 24 full hours.
as well. And then there's all sorts of.
Let's go here to Al Jazeera from Tuesday. Talk more about those peace talks.
In a few moments, we'll get an update from Al Jazeera's Ali.
Like, it's kind of incredible. It was literally last Tuesday that Donald Trump was saying, we're going to have peace. We're going to have peace talks for 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 days of peace. Peace talks. I don't remember exactly how he said it, but he basically said immediately peace talks now. Immediately peace talk now. And that was last Tuesday. It's been like 11 days since then, and we still haven't had even the beginning of peace talks. And there are still people who believe words that Donald Trump says.
In a few moments, we'll get an update from Al Jazeera's Ali Hashim, who's live for us in Tehran. But first, let's go to the Pakistani capital, Islamabad. That's where Osama bin Javed is standing by for us. Osama, when we spoke earlier, the Pakistanis were very tight-lipped as to where this is going. Do we have any sense from your contacts and who you've been speaking to where Pakistan is at the moment when it comes to trying to bring both to the table?
Well, Sarah, I can confirm now after speaking to sources that there are last-ditch efforts underway to try and salvage the second round of talks, which has not taken place despite all that we've heard in the last 48 hours. We believe that the Pakistani civilian and military leadership are jointly working the phones, talking to all sides, appealing to them about maintaining the status quo, which is the ceasefire, which came into effect after the Pakistanis announced it just 2 weeks ago. We've heard from sources that it is not just the Pakistani leadership who's making those calls. All other partners involved in this are also exerting their spheres of influence to try and get the United States and Iran to come back to the negotiating table. This has...
Yep. The fact is the United States is the belligerent, right, in this situation. We started the war. We're the ones who violated the ceasefire first. And unless you want to count Israel, who violated it by continuing their shit in Lebanon. Everybody trying to get the United States and Iran back to the table. However, the United States refusing to stop doing what it's doing, and Iran refusing to back down on its, bare minimum red lines of an actual ceasefire for those peace talks to begin. God. I could have told you that Donald Trump was going to be bad on the Middle East. Oh, wait, I did tell you. I did say it was going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. He's really, really stupid. And he's a demented lunatic. Wannabe dictator. He was now really become a true dictator at this point. I mean, I guess it's not quite. He hasn't actually stolen any elections yet. I think that's what would actually cement it, right? Like right now, he's technically got the implicit backing of Congress, right? Supreme Court's been allowing him to do whatever he wants. If it changed, if like Congress, like the Senate, like the bill, the of that third branch were to change, you were to, I don't know, try and just undo the elections or something, then we'd definitely be at the point. That'd be given dictatorship, right? Right now it's just implicit dictatorship. Slightly different. Impending dictatorship. Well, that's not true either. Because that would be like sort of on its way. We're really in sort of like a middle phase, like a purgatory. A dicturgatory, if you will. Alright. Let's continue talking about these talks. Talking about the talking about the talking about the talks. Talking about the talks in which talking will happen, one assumes, at those talks. People talking together and apart, to one another and perhaps away from one another. And honestly, it's all starting to feel like a bit of a frozen conflict. Sort of circular, a lot of circular vibes going on, if you will. Al Jazeera on that situation here 2 days ago.
Joining me in the studio is General Mark Kimmett. He's a retired U.S. Army general and former U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for Political Military Affairs. General Kimmett, is this a surprise to you, this extension?
It really isn't. I think both sides wanted it. I think both sides need it. And as we had mentioned earlier, I think that relationship that President Trump has with Field Marshal Munir, in many ways, when the Pakistan...
He's not surprised by the ceasefire situation? I'm confused. I gotta hear that
General
question
Kimmett,
again.
is this a surprise to you, this extension?
It really isn't. I think both sides wanted it. I think both sides need
extension,
it.
right.
And as we had mentioned earlier, I think that relationship that President Trump has with Field Marshal Munir, in many ways, when the Pakistanis were pushing hard for it, he had a hard time saying no to his friend.
So the thing is, he wants a unified proposal from Iran.
I'm having a hard time.
Abbas Hassani is saying that there's a that the Americans misconstrue the regime. Is there any truth in that? Because, you know, that was in response to questions when I asked him who's in charge.
Well, yeah, I think we've been misinterpreting the regime since 1979. There's a lot of discussion about the mosaic leadership inside of Iran. You never know who's really in charge other than the supreme leader. So I'm not surprised that we're hearing this, but I think that we're going to see over the next days whether there will be a second set of talks. As I said earlier, both sides want it, both sides need it, both sides don't want to go back to war. I think what will be hammered out in the next couple of days is the proposals that it will take to get back to negotiations.
There was an ominous message which did come through from the advisor to Iran's parliament speaker, saying that Trump's ceasefire extension is certainly a ploy to buy time for a surprise strike. Iran must take the initiative. Is that an empty threat in your view, that they could actually unilaterally break this extension of ceasefire as it was unilaterally extended as well?
Well, it's a very typical tactic inside of military operations.
Yes, could Iran break the already broken ceasefire, which was just extended? Great question. Like, this is all such a fucking, like, a web. This is such a web of, like nonsense. Because, like, it all depends on where you accept the framing, like, beginning. Like, the ceasefire, first off, did the ceasefire ever actually happen? Because the United States has been violating it, according to most who understand the rules of war, as, of course, the blockade in itself is an act of war. And then the seizing of the ships, separate act of wars, separate acts of war. So we can claim that the ceasefire extended. Can you claim, is really the question, that the ceasefire is extended while simultaneously violating it? It's nonsense, right? Of course you can't. Of course you can't. But we sure are trying. And the media is in many ways laundering it, including, from my estimation, Al Jazeera. Even though I appreciate Al Jazeera's coverage more than many mainstream outlets, I think to some degree the government of Qatar is very upset at Iran right now. And I just because I've watched so much of it, I feel like it's gone slightly more favorable to the United States and against Iran. Not that they didn't already have, like, you know, like the government of Qatar didn't have issues with Iran before, but I think it's sort of been exacerbated here in this latest kerfuffle. And of course, Al Jazeera is technically government-approved media. From Al Jazeera, no matter how, what's the word? Indispensable, I might find them in many cases. I've just felt the slight shift. Maybe it's just me. Maybe that's how I'm interpreting it. When you're a star, they let you do whatever you want. You think I need to become a star? If I become a star, they'll just remonetize the channel. I gotta be as big as Mr. Beast. I gotta be the Mr. Beast of space news. Earth news from space. Mr. Beast of Earth news from space. I need a better way of saying that. That's already not catchy enough. Okay. Now to Lebanon, where thousands attended a funeral for Hezbollah fighters killed by Israel. Here's the 8p from Tuesday. By the way, if anybody's wondering why we're bouncing back and forth between topics rather than usual, 2 reasons. One, I've been very stressed. I've been barely able to work and really struggling. Basically depressed. That's the word I'm missing right now. I've been basically depressed for the last few days because we got demonetized on YouTube, something I've been working on for 2.5 years. And I've only just sort of recently been able to get out of it enough to put together the bare minimum of a stream. And that was just in chronological order. So that's why. We're doing chronological order. Not by topic. Just on the Middle East more broadly. That's how we're doing it today. The end. The resistance will continue until the land is liberated. At which point it will no longer be necessary. At that point, the arms will rest. Arms do not rest until, as long as there is an occupation. This is the message of Hezbollah. Of course, we will continue to defend our country. The last drop of blood and the last grain of sand. The blood of our son will not be built in vain. Well, there you have it. Thousands pouring into the streets in support of Hezbollah fighters. Woke Galaxy News. Yeah, something like that, Amanda. I'm just ahead of my time, right? I've created a niche. Doesn't exist yet. Space casting. All right. Let's check in with how Donald Trump's doing. With the one and only Hassan Parker.
If I were president, I would have won Iraq in the same amount of time that we won, because essentially we've won here. Okay, I mean.
Bro, he's out of his dang mind, dude. How can anybody look at this guy running this country and go, well, that's a country I can invest in? Let's get to Donald Trump earlier this morning, delivering an incredible interview with CNBC, where he just says ridiculous
Killing a lot of soldiers, a lot of our soldiers, and a lot of other people. They killed 42,000 people over the last 2 months. And, you get to a point where people don't want to mention that. They don't like mentioning that. 42,000 unarmed protesters, innocent unarmed protesters, many of them hung. So we're not dealing with the nicest group of people, but we're dealing with them very successfully, and the blockade has been a tremendous success. They said two days ago, we will open the Strait. I said, no, we're not going to open the Strait until we have a final deal. No, we want to open the Strait. They said, we're not opening. We totally control the Strait, just so you understand, for all the fake news out there.
And, Mr. President, we've seen 100 days of the largest protests in Iran since the revolution in 1979. And I know how much you respect.
We live in a totally separate planet here in the United States of America. Like, no, 42,000 protesters with the biggest penises you've ever seen had not been hanged by the Iranian government, okay? That's what Donald Trump is claiming, okay? Don't get mad at me. He said they're all hung, okay? None of those things have happened, okay?
You are
That's
not
ridiculous.
funny.
Even if that ridiculous claim were to be true, it's still additionally ridiculous to, blow up the Iranian pipelines and the Iranian bridges that 93 million people still use, and the Iranian power plants that, again, 93 million people use. That's not a solution to this problem. Not only is it not true, but also, even if it was true, what the is your solution? To wipe out the entire Iranian civilization? How is that somehow a solution to this problem?
It's not my choice, but it will also hurt them. It'll hurt them militarily. They use the bridges for their weapons, for their missile movements. They're trying to move the missiles because we've obliterated most of them.
Damn, young Chris making the move over to Twitch from YouTube. This has happened now twice. It's the second time now. There's multiple people now. I remember who used to be ardent YouTube watchers who now watch almost exclusively, not entirely, but they switched their watching habits over to Twitch ever since the first time. Now number 2.0. It's the purple wave. Jeffy Bezos is laughing right now.
And they're trying to move the missiles.
I'm blowing up the bridges for the missile movements
around, even during the ceasefire, which I think was a good thing, because we're totally loaded up. We have so much ammo. We have so much of everything that we've, much more powerful than it was 4 or 5 weeks ago. So we've used this to restock, and they probably have done a little bit of restocking. We caught a ship yesterday that had some things on it which wasn't very nice. A gift from China, perhaps. I don't know.
This is what they're relying on as new evidence. Perhaps it was a gift, a dangerous gift, the most dangerous of all. You never know.
I was a little surprised, but because I have a very good relationship, and I thought I had an understanding with.
How did she betray me? How did he do it? How did she do it? I said, not my she.
How did they do that? That's very, very nasty. Can't believe they would do that. It's really weird. They had a beautiful relationship, and it's like they don't care. But then she sent me a beautiful letter and said, actually, we do care. And let me know I was wrong.
I have to have my
We actually
China.
need our China. Have to have my China. Otherwise, no good. No good, can't have that. Not gonna do it. Nagada. All right. Al Jazeera English from 2 days ago. Still on Tuesday, but we're making progress. Making progress. Unfortunately, Israeli settlers are making the exact wrong kind of progress. Continuing to seize more land and continuing to terrorize all the Palestinians in the West Bank. Shock of shock. Including children, of course. Sad, but true.
No words can console these grieving mother and father. Israeli settlers killed their 32-year-old son Jihad as they attacked the school in Al-Mghayr village near Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. Jihad was trying to evacuate the students to safety. Gunfire can be heard in this video, captured by an eyewitness. A second mother grieves her 13-year-old child, Aus. Israeli settlers shot him in the head during the same attack. Grief turns to anger as crowds pour out of the emergency room, carrying the bodies of the latest victims of settler attacks in Al-Mghayr.
Settlers attacked the school and began firing live ammunition. The army then immediately joined them, opening fire as we were trying to evacuate the students.
These killings evoke bitter memories in the village. 7 years ago, Aus's father, Hamdi, was also shot and killed by Israeli settlers attacking Al-Mghayr village. Aus was 6 at the time. No one was ever held to account. Residents in Al-Mghayr say the people who killed Jihad and Aus will enjoy the same impunity. They say these attacks target their very existence. And as they grieve the losses, new and old, they live to protect their land another day. Nooradi Al Jazeera, Ramallah, Palestine.
I mean to watch that whole clip, but there you have it. Got a little distracted over here. I'm not fully back in the saddle yet on all this. I've been struggling big time, as I've been saying, just trying to like go day by day, let alone like, you know, you take a few days off of the stream. I feel like it takes me a second to get back in my rhythm. Whoa, my stomach just made some weird freaking noises. Oh, it's probably because I haven't eaten since I woke up. Oh, God. It's things like eating that already go by the wayside because of my insane YouTube schedule. Right? Like, think about that for a second. Like, there are many days where I don't eat at the right time because of my incredibly long YouTube streaming schedule. And yet somehow, I'm low effort. It's still ringing in my head. That's the other thing. Like, I can't stop thinking about it. This is low effort. Me worrying more about starting the stream at a particular time. More so than eating at a particular time. That's my life, like every day. I'm like, more important I start the stream. Or many days I just forget to do it because I'm just like, today, this is when I stream. I don't have food. And if I don't have snackies, very difficult for me to actually make food. Even during a break. Low effort, though. Very low. Look at me being inauthentic and low effort, talking about my personal struggles and streaming for 8 hours a day. Very rude of me, I'm sorry. Let me focus back in on the content. Al Jazeera English, back to back, also from Tuesday. Talk more about the Strait of Hormuz. And the closure that's affecting the entire global economy. No matter what Donald Trump says.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
The only maritime